Welcome to today's Explainer. If you or your child are gearing up for the NSW Selective High School Placement Test, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're going to decode exactly how to write a standout descriptive piece. We'll be looking at everything from what the markers actually want to see, all the way to structuring your response perfectly when you're under that intense exam pressure.
Right out of the gate, we need to shatter a massive myth about student writing. Good description is not about burying your reader under a mountain of adjectives. It's just not. Instead, it's about leaving a powerful, controlled impression. Before you even write a single word, you have to decide on your dominant mood. Is the scene joyful? Is it lonely? Unsettling? That single decision literally dictates everything else you'll write.
Okay, let's dive into this, because students frequently confuse a narrative with a description. A narrative focuses on characters, action, conflict, and change. Description, on the other hand, focuses on an impression, an atmosphere, the setting, and keen observation. A really common trap is accidentally turning a descriptive prompt into an action-packed story. You have to keep your focus strictly on building a mood, not chasing a plot.
So to build that atmosphere, you need the right tools. Instead of just listing objects, think of this as your writer's toolbox. First up, precise nouns and vivid verbs. For example, sunlight shouldn't just shine, it should spill. See the difference? Second, curate your sensory details. Please, don't force all 5 senses into a paragraph if they don't naturally fit. And finally, control your sentence length. Varying how long your sentences are is a fantastic way to build tension and create a natural rhythm.
Now, let's talk about figurative language, things like similes, metaphors, and personification. Listen, you have to avoid the checklist mentality here. The markers do not want to see forced cliches like quiet as a mouse, just so you can say you used a simile. One original, sharp observation is infinitely more valuable than stacking forced techniques just to tick a box. Use them only when they actually add to the effect.
Let's look at how these abstract concepts apply to a real NSW selective scenario. Imagine sitting in the exam and getting this classic prompt. You arrive at a normally busy place and discover that it is completely empty. Describe the place and the atmosphere. When you read that, your brain should immediately target a dominant impression. Ask yourself, what does unsettling emptiness actually look and sound like?
Now, what's really interesting is looking at the difference in execution. Think about a weak response. It might say something like, "The magnificent, spectacular, incredible station was unbelievably dark, frightening, terrifying, and mysterious." It relies entirely on stacking adjectives. It tells the reader how to feel, but it doesn't show them. Contrast that with an improved version. A newspaper scraped slowly across the concrete, pushed by a wind that seemed far too loud, while the departure board continued blinking instructions to passengers who were no longer there.
Why does that second version absolutely crush it? Well, it uses a strong, immediate opening. But more importantly, it selects a few powerful, specific details, the blinking board, the scraping paper, rather than trying to describe every single brick in the station. It also varies the sentence rhythm naturally and leaves the reader with a deeply memorable, unsettling mood without ever actually using the word scary. It's all about quality over quantity.
To manage your time effectively, think of your paragraph organization as controlling a movie camera. You want a flexible 5-step structure to guide the reader's viewpoint. First, establish the atmosphere immediately. Second, pan out for a wider view of the scene. Third, zoom in on a few selected details. Fourth, introduce a deliberate shift. Maybe the light changes or a sound interrupts the silence. And finally, end on one highly memorable image. It smoothly guides the reader rather than jumping around randomly.
Knowing what not to do is honestly just as crucial. Quick warning for both parents and students. Watch out for these trapdoors. Avoid overloading with adjectives and cliches. Do not just list details like a grocery list. There was a tree, a bench, a fence. That has zero atmosphere. Don't force a 5 senses checklist. And, as we mentioned earlier, whatever you do, do not abandon the descriptive prompt to write a fast-paced action story. Stay focused on the mood.
So the crucial point is how you actually manage your time on test day. Here is a highly practical 30-minute exam strategy. You literally want to spend 3 to 4 minutes just planning. Choose your subject, lock in that dominant mood, and pick your key details. Then spend 22 to 24 minutes writing, taking the time to develop that small number of details really well. Finally, always leave 3 to 4 minutes at the end to check your work for clarity, spelling, and punctuation. Let's connect all of this back to exactly what the selective test markers are grading you on. This controlled approach hits every single expectation on their rubric. They want to see effectiveness for the purpose, meaning you actually wrote a description, not a story. They want clear organization, which our 5-step camera movement gives you. They're looking for precise vocabulary use for actual effect, plus high technical accuracy in your sentence control, spelling, and punctuation. This strategy literally takes every box.
I want to leave you with this complete paradigm shift on what makes writing truly excellent. Strong description is not about using more techniques. It is about choosing the right details in language to create a powerful impression. You want the marker to experience your setting, not just read a list of facts about it.
The tools are in your hands, but mastery absolutely comes from practice. Encourage your child to start noticing striking details in the real world and applying them to different moods. For more resources, expert guidance, and practice prompts, head on over to www.path2selective.com. Keep writing, stay confident, and I'll see you in the next explainer.